Hey, what's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to tell you a story of a time I went to a party at the Playboy Mansion in California. Before I get into that, I'm going to go back many years and tell you guys about a time where I was actually dating a Playmate. And the way that came to be was for a very short time as a young man, I did some modeling work. All right, so I did some modeling work for MTV. I did one runway fashion show for a company called Planet Earth in Newark, New Jersey. Very high-end clothing, like $1,000 shoes and very expensive shirts and pants. And I ended up attending a modeling convention in Washington, D.C. All right, and at that convention, I met this Playmate who was there. She was actually Playmate of the Month. I'm not going to tell you the details of it. I don't want to disclose her name or anything. But she and I spent basically a lot of that weekend together in Washington. And from that point on, we stayed in touch. We would talk all the time. I met her mother. And, we were in regular communication with each other. She actually lived in the Playboy Mansion at the time and was technically one of Hugh Hefner's girlfriends. And the crazy part about it was, we talk all the time. Like, I had at least 4 or 5 different numbers to call to the Playboy Mansion. I'd be able to call her directly there anytime. She'd call me all the time. She actually wanted to leave there and come live with me. She wanted to leave that whole life, get rid of Hugh Hefner, leave the Playmate status, and come live in, a rented home that I had in New Jersey with me. And I told her that I was crazy. I was like, there's nothing here for you. You have a lot of potential over there. You're doing well for yourself. And I didn't understand it until she started telling me the actual day-to-day of the Playmates there. And basically, these girls are miserable. Her in particular, she was telling me how it's not like it seems. People look at it from the outside in and think it's very glamorous and, it's full of fun parties and stuff. It's not like that. They had a very strict regimen, what they were allowed to do and not allowed to do. They had a curfew that they all had to be home by 9 o'clock. They each did get a car at the time. So he got her a little Mercedes and they had a weekly allowance. It wasn't a lot of money, but he did pay for any of their cosmetic stuff they wanted. Like if they wanted to get their nails done, their hair done, anything like that, he would pay for it. They were not allowed to do a lot of stuff. They had to be basically on call all the time for Hugh Hefner and his fucking old friends. They were all in their 80s and 90s, and she told me every night of the week there was a different function. That it was like a movie night, for example, a game night, and all it was a bunch of old, disgusting men with these young, beautiful women, and these women had to just, be around them and cater to them. So even the parties that did happen, they weren't that often, and when they did happen, the girls are not allowed to talk to or get involved with any other man at all. So what she was doing with me was actually in violation of her contract with Hugh Hefner and the rules for her living in the Playboy Mansion. So at that time, she would invite me all the time. It's very hard to get into these Playboy parties, and she'd always want me to come to the Halloween party, to the Christmas party, and I always said no. I was very busy with work, and I wasn't really interested. It's not really my scene, so I basically had an open invitation, and I never went, all right, at all. She and I ended up losing touch. Things didn't work out. We stopped talking to each other. We were very, very different people to begin with, so I didn't really think it was going to go anywhere. But shortly after that, I ended up moving to California. When I moved to Southern California, that story came up one day with some friends I had out there, and I remember they were all shocked, and they couldn't believe that I didn't go to these parties that I was invited to. And I was like, what the fuck is the big deal? It's just a party. And they're like, man, we've been out here our whole lives, and we have tried every way possible to get into these parties. One of these guys was a very rich guy. His family was very wealthy, and he told me, he said, man, I offered them $50,000 just for me, by myself, to come into the party, and they wouldn't allow me. So you couldn't even buy your way in. So they all thought I was crazy that I didn't go, and I didn't really give a fuck. I'm not impressed by this kind of bullshit. But years after that now, getting to this story, and when I did go, it was actually for, I have a brother who lives in South Beach in Miami, and this is a couple years back, probably like 5-6 years ago, before Hugh Hefner died, you know, while they were still the real Playboy Mansion there. And I told him for his birthday, you know, he mentioned to me one time that he really wanted to go there. So I decided for his birthday to take him to the Playboy Mansion. So we went out to California for the weekend. I actually brought another friend of the both of ours from Miami as well. And I treated, you know, everybody. And we went out there and we attended this party at the Playboy Mansion. Okay? I'll show you guys some pictures that I have from there also in the video. But, you know, most men think that this is something that's such a fucking great thing. It's a big deal to have all these beautiful women around you, and they're practically naked, some of them, and, you know, they've heard all these stories about the craziness that goes on there in the grotto area and the pool, and, you know, all these hidden rooms they have. There are some hidden passages in the mansion. So I was all around the whole mansion. I saw the whole thing, and honestly, guys, I'm not impressed by it at all. To me, it was no big deal. I was not in any way impressed. There were a lot of celebrities there. That particular night, Paris Hilton was right next to me. Puff Daddy, whatever the fuck, P. Diddy, Punk, I don't care about him either. Chris Brown was there, another punk I don't care about. A bunch of others, you know, a bunch of actors that I don't even know their names. But the point is that to have all these fucking women around like that, you know, the men who think that they'd like to be there and they want to be a part of that scene, you don't realize that they're basically all just fucking prostitutes. That's really what it is. They're all gold diggers. And the men there, for the most part, are just fucking perverts. You know, there's nothing classy about these kind of parties and that place. So for me, again, it was no big deal. I really didn't care. I did it because my brother wanted to go, and it was a big deal for him. At the time, you know, even while we were there, he realized also what I had told him, that it's not that big of a deal, man. He comes from Miami. There are a lot better parties in South Beach than that one. But one of the things that happened while we were there, me and the other friend from Miami, he was a model, and he was on a soap opera, a telenovela, one of the Spanish soap operas in Miami. So he was pretty known also. Very good-looking guy. He and I actually spun off from the main area where the party was. It was outdoors for the most part. And we went into the game room. I have one of the pictures I'll show you is with me and these two girls in there. And then we went into this other room where the whole floor was a mattress. The entire floor, you stepped on it, was a mattress, right? So there was nobody in there. And he and I were talking about something, like something serious he and I wanted to talk about. So we were just in there, and we were sitting on the floor talking, and these two girls walk in, and they just look at us and say hello, and immediately they're like, so you guys want to have sex? And I was just looking at him, he looked at me, I was like, no thank you, not interested. But the reason I tell you that part of the story is because it just goes to show you how shallow these people are. They're not about anything good. They're fucking whores. The girls are whores. The guys are, like I said earlier, perverts. And everybody's just about the money. You know, how much money you have. And when you see beautiful women with old-ass men like Hugh Hefner, you know, it's a disgusting thing. Because think about it. They would never, ever be with this guy or any of these other clowns that are there if they were not celebrities and not rich. So these women are only about themselves. They're trying to use this situation and give themselves up sexually and let people just use them as a toy, a sex toy basically, so they could hopefully get some money, get some fame, get some gifts. And that's how I felt about that whole scene. That whole scene to me is just fake. It's all fucking fake. There was nobody there that I was interested in even getting to know or talk to. Just a bunch of fucking posers. people trying to be something that they're not, people trying to act like they're somebody special, the girls all trying to impress everybody by just showing more skin than the next one, and I wasn't interested in any of those girls. And you may be asking yourself, then why was I interested in the other girl? The other girl, years ago, she was a really nice girl. She really was. And at the time that I met her, was right in the beginning. She had just done her first Playboy centerfold spread. So it was before it all hit, all the fame and all that stuff. And she actually changed dramatically very soon after. And she fucked herself up also with all this liposuction, lip injections, surgeries, all these things, which is such a shame because she really was such a gorgeous girl at the time when I knew her. And that's another part of it. They all look so fake. The girls are just, you know, they all look alike and they're all so fake. And they're bimbos, they're airheads. And the people there attending the party, again, like I said, guys, they're not about anything other than satisfying their own desires. That's it. That's all they're about. And I'm not like that. You know, I'd rather have a good conversation, an interesting conversation with an old fat person than be around a bunch of these beautiful bimbo fucking blonde supermodels, or not supermodels, playmates. I really would, because to me that does nothing for me. I'm not interested in that. I don't give my body to just anybody and just sleep around and have sex with anything that looks good. And I encourage you guys to also not be that way. It's not a cool thing to be. You know, and unfortunately, that's how the world that we live in currently is, for the most part. That's how people are. People are not about anything serious. They're shallow. They don't care about other people. They don't care about helping anyone. They don't care about learning, becoming knowledgeable. They have no desire for wisdom. They're just fucking punks. And they're a dime a dozen in my eyes. It means nothing. So, you know, to sum up, guys, I was not impressed by this party at all. It was nothing special at all. I went because I thought it was a nice thing as a birthday gift for my brother. And the friend of ours also had a good time. But we had a better time in the days building up to and after the party. We stayed out in Huntington Beach. I got a hotel room right on the beach. And we had a much better time just chilling out there, going to bars and restaurants than at the actual Playboy mansion. So for those of you who thought or do think now that it's a big deal, that it's a cool thing to be around all these celebrities are fucking losers, guys. Trust me when I tell you. And I'm looking at these people that everyone's making a big deal around, and I'm just thinking to myself, take away this fucking guy's money, and he's nothing. Nothing. None of these fucking guys here are anything special. None of you females out there who watch this video would even give a fuck about these people if they were not famous and not very rich. None of you would. And so if that's how you want to be and judge people based on that, and you're attracted to them only because of their status and money, you know, you better really check yourself and think carefully about the kind of person you are and if that's who you want to be. I would much rather be with a poor person who's unknown and a good-hearted, genuine person who's about something than be with the most famous fucking person in the world who's really just a piece of shit and is only recognized and given any kind of recognition at all because of their fame and nothing else. Take that away and they're garbage. So I just thought I'd share this video with you guys. I never went back after that. I never had any interest after that. And the truth is, I was right many, many years ago that it was a stupid thing and not a big deal for me. And even had I been invited back after, I would never have gone back again. That's how bad of a time I had there. It was no big deal at all to me. And I'll have a lot more fun just chilling out at a bar, a restaurant, a lounge with good people. You know, much more so than with all these fucking airheads all around me. Not to say that the couple girls that you will see me in the pictures with, I'm not insulting them in any way. They were nice girls. They were nice people. But generally speaking, that's what it's all about over there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you next time. Thanks.